A TSBVI outreach tutorial. The Orion TI-36X Talking Scientific Calculator, Part 2, features. Presented by Susan Osterhaus, a Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired Outreach Math Consultant.
And then in addition, you saw the larger box. Then the calculator is also within a smaller box just for extra protection. And here is that calculator. And I would definitely say don't get rid of, for sure, this box and maybe even the larger box as well, so that you can keep everything together and keep it relatively safe. I want you to think about this as a mini computer. Don't think about it as a cheap calculator. The price is $249. So for me, I'm thinking this is it's not terribly expensive, but it is not a cheap type of technology, though. And first of all, I want you to notice it does have a lid, and be careful how you open that. Is from this end, you're just going to apply a little upward pressure, and it comes right off. It fits. It has a couple of little things that fit into the bottom just to show you how to put it back on, and then it just kind of snaps back on. The reason I show you this is when I first got this to evaluate, I was afraid to death I was going to break this off because it was so difficult to get it off. But they have improved, as far as I'm concerned. They seem to have managed to loosen it up a bit, so it's a little easier to get off. But if you don't know the magic trick about how to get it off, you could certainly break it. So again, it fits. It's got these two little slots that fit into the holes at the bottom, and we tighten it up, and to get it off again, just apply a little bit of pressure and lift. Okay, so now we've got the Orion TI-36X, and what I'm going to show you right now is, and I thought that since this is relatively new, I thought this one had all of its feet, but you'll notice it's a little bit off of its tilt. So let me just show you the bottom first. What's happened is that one of the rubber feet have fallen off. It's supposed to have 4 of these. So make sure that you've got all your rubber feet on and try to keep them on there. And you'll notice that your speaker is also on the bottom, which is another nice thing to have, those feet keeping the calculator off of a flat surface so that you're able to hear that speaker quite well. Okay, so we're coming back over. If you look carefully at this calculator, you are going to notice, I hope, that the top portion looks just like a regular TI-36X calculator, which is still currently available from Texas Instruments. So you do get that high technology from Texas Instruments. Again, it has the same visual display. It has all the same keypad keys on this keypad that you're going to use. And the only difference is when you go and look at it from the side. So let's look at it a little more from the side. When you go to purchase your regular TI-36X, it's much thinner than this. So what's happened is they've taken that top of the TI-36X and basically put it down into this much thicker casing. And I'm going to try to see if I can show you. I'm not sure if I'm let me see if I can get you to be able to see that. There's a little wheel here that's going to be for the volume, and I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there, on the left side there is a little wheel that will, there we go, that will make that volume increase or decrease, and we'll play with that in a little bit later. But again, that's on your left side, and of course it's only going to be with this one that has been modified that talks. Okay, so that's there. Also, a little further down, we have another little hole, and that is where, I'm sure you guessed it, that's where our earphone is going to plug in right there. And in case you, again, wanted those stereo headphones, you could put, I'm going to have to probably release this because I'm a little klutzy here, all right? And you can also, as I indicated, you can plug that adapter in and it fits, and then you can go ahead and now put your stereo headphones into that much larger cavity for that larger plug for your stereo headphones. Okay, that's on the left side. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at the right side of the calculator, and again, we've got that extra thickness for these added features. The top one is going to be for our charger, so we're going to go ahead and plug that in.
Battery recharging on.
Okay, and it tells us that our battery recharger is on. I just flipped on the on switch. So that's nice. It's letting us know that we really got that in correctly and we're ready to go. Of course, the only problem is I don't have it in and charging, so you'd have to be sure that you've got it plugged into the electricity.
Battery recharging off.
But bottom line, it's just telling you that when you're taking it in and out. And this next button, which is the one that would be more toward the top of your calculator, let's listen to it.
Enter learning mode.
If you need to enter the learning mode, that's what you're going to press, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. If you
Exit learning mode.
push it again, it exits learning mode. And if you hold it,
Enter speech mode menu.
and I will say for right now that you can go in and you can change the speech mode to many different things that you can do there. You can have it say the answer out digit by digit or say the whole number out. Many other options there. You can ask it to be verbose or not so verbose, etc. So we're going to turn that back off though.
Exit speech mode menu.
And then the other button, if you press it lightly,
Repeat 0.
it's going to repeat what's on your display, which happens to be 0 right now. But if you press it and hold it, look what happens.
Power off.
That's what turns the power off. I had a young student come who had figured everything out but that. She said it will turn off automatically, which it does do. It turns off automatically after a certain amount of time. But if you forget to turn it off, it will turn it off. It'll give you a little beeping warning to let you know it's going to turn off, but it does try to save that power for you. So these are the features that you're going to want to know on either side. Again, on the left side, we've got the area, the little wheel that turns the speech louder or more quiet. We have the spot for your headphone or your earphone. And then on the right side, we have the spot for your charger, and then turning it into learning mode or learning mode off. And then if you really hold on to it, you go into speech mode. And then the second button, you tap it lightly, it repeats. And if you hold on to it, it turns the calculator off. Very important features that, again, are on either side of the calculator. Now, as I mentioned, this is a regular TI-36X calculator. If you have a need for knowing more about the TI-36X calculator, you can go out to the Texas Instruments website and actually get another manual that goes right along with the TI-36X. And for some teachers, or I'm thinking probably in terms more of a math teacher, might want to have a little bit better look at that. So whether you're a VI teacher or a student or a math teacher, again, there is more information if you go out to the Texas Instruments website. In that case, you wouldn't be calling it the Orion, though. You would be looking for just plain TI-36X. And again, as I said, it's got the same keypad, and you're probably thinking, well, is there anything tactual on here? There is not. The student learns this keypad to some extent from memory. But remember that learning mode. What happens is if he or she does forget a key, they can go into that learning mode, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually do some problems on it just to show you how it works.
This video continues in the TSBVI Outreach Tutorial Series, Orion Calculator. Look for other videos by Susan Osterhaus on Math for the Blind and Visually Impaired. A TSBVI Outreach Distance Learning production. Executive Producers, William Daugherty, Superintendent. Cyril Miller, Outreach Director. Outreach Producers, Susan Osterhaus, Math Consultant. Mike Bicknell, Media Specialist. Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired Outreach Programs. 1100 West 45th Street, Austin, Texas 78756, USA. Telephone, 512-454-8631. Website, www.tsbvi.edu. Video copyright TSBVI 2010. All rights reserved.